The cabin is the first thing you'll notice. The recycled air feels thin, the overhead lights are soft, and the plastic cup in your hand clinks against the armrest as the cart rattles by. Voices rise and fall, a murmur of seatbelt clicks, the flight attendant's polite announcements, the rustle of a magazine page, and that cheap mini bottle you opened at the gate starts to feel warm in your palm. Maybe you're laughing louder than usual, slurring a little, or leaning too far into the aisle. Everyone on a plane recognizes that small change in a passenger's behavior because at 35,000 feet, small things can become big, fast. If you're worried about what happens next, start here. The airline and the crew have strict rules about alcohol and disruptive behavior.
If your flight happens to be canceled or delayed, Compensair will help you get compensation for the inconvenience and get your money back without wasting time on red tape. Get a refund for your canceled flight right
And they will act to protect safety first. Before you get on a plane, check 3 things: the airline's alcohol policy, the laws of the country you're leaving and entering, and any medication interactions that might amplify alcohol. Don't guess. Screenshot or save the airline policy page so you can show it if needed. At home, look up the carrier's terms under Conditions of Carriage or Onboard Alcohol Policy. Many airlines explicitly forbid drinking alcohol that wasn't served by the cabin crew. That means duty-free bottles you bring on board can usually be kept sealed but not consumed. Check the airport's rules too. Airport bars sell alcohol, but once you're on the airplane, the rules change. If you take medication, call your doctor about mixing it with alcohol. Some sedatives and travel pills make impairment come on faster in a pressurized cabin. At the airport, be concrete. Set a limit for number of drinks and switch to water at least 90 minutes before boarding. If you have social anxiety or plan to sleep, ask your doctor for a short-term prescription and a note if you think you might need it. Otherwise, don't rely on heavy drinking to cope. If the gate bar is busy and you feel tempted to drink more, pay for a coffee instead. If you're traveling with family or someone who will monitor you, ask them to keep you honest. Why such strict rules? Think of an aircraft like a small moving hospital with limited exits and one crew responsible for everyone's safety. It's like a bus full of people being driven over a mountain road. If one passenger becomes aggressive, the driver can't pull over safely like a car can. The plane can't stop mid-air. The cabin crew must be able to control the environment, and sometimes that means involving law enforcement on landing or diverting to the nearest suitable airport. That's costly, disruptive, and dangerous. Airlines treat interference with crew as the same kind of danger as trying to unlock a car door while the vehicle is traveling at highway speed. So what can actually happen if you get drunk or disruptive on a plane? Consequences range from immediate to long-term and from monetary to criminal. Immediate actions by crew. They will warn you, refuse to serve you more alcohol, and if you are clearly intoxicated or aggressive, they will ask you to calm down and seatbelt yourself. If the behavior continues, the captain can decide to divert the flight, land early, or meet local police on arrival. You can be restrained with zip ties or handcuffs if you become violent. That restraint itself can be upsetting and public, and the crew will treat it as a safety measure, not punishment. Financial and travel costs. Expect fines and fees. In the US, FAA civil penalties for interfering with a crew member can reach several $1,000s per person. Criminal charges can add legal costs and restitution claims. Internationally, fines and penalties vary wildly. A diversion alone can cost an airline tens of thousands of dollars, and they may bill you or press charges to recover costs. Your rebooking cost if you're removed could be $200, $1,500 or more, depending on the ticket, route, and how soon you need to fly again. If arrest happens overseas, you may face local court fees, legal representation costs, and even bail. Criminal and immigration risk. In many countries, assaulting crew or causing a flight diversion is a criminal offense. That can mean arrest, detention, and a criminal record. For foreign nationals, that could include visa issues, deportation, or being refused entry on later trips. Some offenders are added to airline or industry-wide no-fly lists, which can block future travel. If a diversion involved damage to the aircraft or injuries, civil lawsuits are possible. Passengers have been billed for expensive repairs. Health and medical risk. The cabin environment amplifies the effects of alcohol. Lower oxygen, dehydration, and the mixing of drugs with alcohol can cause fainting, vomiting, or behavior you can't control. Emergency diversion for medical reasons can leave you stuck in a foreign hospital until you're cleared. That's not just inconvenient, it's expensive if you don't have appropriate insurance that covers alcohol-related incidents. Worst cases to be aware of: you could be arrested and jailed, miss all your connections, lose a business trip, or be forced to pay for the airline's diversion. You may also be banned by the airline and face a long, expensive appeal to get reinstated. If you offend in a country with stricter drunk-in-public laws, penalties may be harsher than at home. Now the practical, cheapest, safest solution. Hydrate, slow down, and plan before you leave home. Pick a concrete limit: 1 drink in the lounge and none on board, or 2 drinks, but nothing stronger than beer. And set your phone timer as a reminder. Alternate every alcoholic drink with a bottle of water. If you know you get louder or sleepier at altitude, cut your intake early. Buy duty-free to take home, not to open on board. If you feel anxious, bring a non-alcoholic calming strategy: noise-canceling earbuds, a guided breathing app, or a short walk through the terminal. If a crew member refuses service, accept it calmly. They're trained and empowered to refuse service when someone appears intoxicated. Escalating the situation will only confirm their decision and may get you off the aircraft. If you disagree, ask to speak with the purser or the gate agent after landing. Argue after the fact, not in the moment. If you are removed or arrested, cooperate with authorities. Document names and badge numbers politely and contact your embassy if you're overseas. Call a lawyer before making statements if possible. Do not try to explain your way out by getting louder or argumentative. That's the behavior that gets people detained. A practical checklist to follow. 1. Before travel, screenshot the airline's alcohol policy and carry a copy of any prescription. 2. Set a 1 or 2 drink limit and alternate with water. 3. Avoid mixing alcohol with sedatives or unfamiliar medication. 4. If the crew refuses service, comply and request help after landing. 5. If you have a history of problematic drinking, consider talking to a doctor about travel strategies or medication adjustments. Many useful links can be found in the description. A quick word about money and insurance. Travel insurance often excludes alcohol-related incidents. Policies commonly deny claims if you were intoxicated at the time of the incident, so medical bills, evacuation, or legal fees tied to your intoxication may not be covered. Cancel for any reason or premium policies also have fine print exceptions. Read them before you travel. If a travel site promises full protection for disruption, that may not include behavior-related removals. One specific misleading claim to watch for: duty-free shopping can create a false sense of safety. Shops sell sealed alcohol in the gate area, but carriers commonly forbid consuming any alcohol not served by crew. Sellers may suggest you can drink this on the plane, which is often incorrect. If a gate agent or shop clerk implies you may consume a duty-free bottle mid-flight, ask to see the airline's policy or save the receipt and keep it sealed. If you're offered an airline-branded drink voucher or pre-purchase bundle that seems to include guaranteed onboard service, remember the crew has the final say. They can always refuse service for safety reasons. Refuse to buy into promises that bypass crew discretion. If you're accused of misconduct and you genuinely don't remember, do not sign anything without legal advice. Ask for a copy of the incident report and the names of witnesses. The line between embarrassment and criminality is narrow at altitude. Documentation matters. A final practical example. Imagine you're 3 drinks in, a window seat, and the seatbelt sign comes on for turbulence. You stand to use the toilet and bump into a flight attendant. They ask you to sit. You respond rudely and raise your voice. A flight attendant reports interference with crew to the captain. The captain orders the aircraft to continue to destination initially, but the ground team waits to meet you, or worse, the captain diverts to the nearest airport with law enforcement. You're escorted off the aircraft in handcuffs, you miss your trip, and the airline may bill you for the diversion. You now have a police report, a fine, and possibly a temporary ban. That single moment, standing up when asked not to, becomes the pivot between a harmless night and a career-affecting record. If you travel rarely, plan like it's a medical appointment. Limit alcohol, sleep well beforehand, and hydrate. If you're preparing for your first flight, practice saying no thanks to an extra drink and bring a printed policy so you can refer to it if needed. If you see someone else becoming disruptive, alert the crew quietly. Don't intervene yourself. To refuse a misleading upsell or claim at the gate, ask direct questions. Will this voucher guarantee service even if the crew thinks I'm intoxicated? If the answer is vague, decline. Keep evidence, screenshots of airline policy, copies of receipts, and names of agents who made assurances. If an agent misleads you and you're removed later, you have a stronger case when you can show you were told something different. In short, the safest and cheapest choice is self-control and preparation. The worst outcomes, arrest, diversion, fines, missed travel, and long-term bans, all start with one bad decision in a confined, regulated space. Respect the crew's authority, plan your limits, and if you have a history that worries you, arrange medical advice or alternatives before you board. If this helped you feel more confident about traveling, please like the video and subscribe for more practical travel safety tips. Your next trip deserves to be about the destination, not a single mistake at 35,000 feet.